Good morning, everybody. This is First Warning Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich. I guess about lunchtime now. We'll call it noon time for a lot of people here on the East Coast. I want to give you a quick update on the weather situation this afternoon because it's kind of a complex setup here. Huge drastic changes, as you've heard me talk about for the last couple of days, temperature-wise. But today really is going to be interesting because we're worried about not so much, I would say, your typical severe thunderstorm winds, though we certainly could see some with this line of storms you see building back along the cold front. My concern really is just the strong winds that we're going to see this afternoon. A quick look at the temperatures. I'll show you these briefly. The cold front is right in here. You can see it clearly defined. I don't even have to draw it on the map. You can see the line of showers and storms in that defining cloud line there. Temperatures in the 50s and 60s out ahead of the front. Dew point's almost 60 degrees as well. So there's a lot of moisture to work with and very, very spring-like setup with this situation. But I'm going to turn the temperatures off for a second, kind of show you what's going on with this low pressure center that's developing to our north. This low pressure center is what we call bombing out. Excuse me, allergies killing me today. And the pressure's down to 990 millibars. At the same time, there's an Arctic high, almost a 1030 millibars. And that pressure gradient, we call it, is really producing some strong, strong winds. And even outside of thunderstorms today or showers, we're going to see wind gusts to 60, maybe 70 miles an hour, especially across the mountains where we have high wind warnings already in effect. So let me go into the model data and kind of break this down on what I think is going to happen. The first model we're going to look at is the short range model, because a lot of this is going to happen here in the next 12 to 24 hours. This is what we call the HRRR, the HRR for short. And we'll go into this afternoon. Again, this is 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m. It doesn't look like much, but there's going to be a line of broken thunder showers, maybe not even thunder in them, probably just very gusty showers that's going to move through. Basically, it looks like right now, sometime around, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock's right there, 6, 7, and then 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock moving to the east. So you get a good idea. But here's my concern. It's really the wind. And the first thing I'm going to show you is the surface winds, essentially, what the winds are at the surface. And you can see the scale here. Anytime you get into the blue, you're talking 30 to 40 mile an hour winds. We start getting into purple, we're talking 50 mile an hour winds. So let's go out into the future here. A very gusty south winds ahead of the front. Bear with us, the model data is taking a little while to load here. And as we go into the afternoon hours along the front, you'll notice as the front moves through, look at the little line of blue and even some purples. So you're talking 40 to 50 mile an hour winds. I certainly think the gusts could be higher than that as the front moves through. And then look at the winds behind the front in the mountains. You can see a Blowing Rock, Grandfather Mountain. That's basically Grandfather Mountain right there. And if you look carefully, that's we're talking 40 to 50 mile an hour winds, probably higher. I'm thinking 70 to 80. And let me show you why I believe that's so. I'm going to show you the 850 millibar winds, which is just off the deck, we call it, a couple thousand feet up. And these will likely mix down to the surface as we go into the evening hours. You see these purples showing up right in here and even some reds. You're getting into the 55 to 65 knot winds. So you're talking 60 to 70 mile an hour winds at between 3,000 and 5,000 feet. That will surely be mixing down to the surface, especially when you get cold air advection and a lot of mixing with the front moving through. Look at the winds in the mountains this evening. And this is why you have the high wind warning right in here. These are 60 knot winds. Okay, you're talking hurricane force winds likely in many parts of the mountains tonight. And with the recent tree damage from the ice storm, I certainly could see some tree limbs coming down. So wind is going to be the story today, even outside of severe thunderstorms per se. Now let's look at temperatures, because that's the other story. We could push the low to mid 70s briefly today if the sun comes out. And then I want you to watch the cold front. This is 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., pretty easy to see where the front is. 5 p.m., the front will be crossing the Piedmont. 6, 7, 8 p.m. tonight. You can see the cold air below freezing in the mountains, snow falling there, and temperatures around the Piedmont falling into the 40s. So pretty dramatic change in the weather is going to be occurring later this afternoon. Prepare yourself now. We could see some scattered power outages and tree limbs coming down just because of saturated soils, recent damage from the ice storm, all that potential goes in there. Of course, I'll have you covered throughout the afternoon on NBC Charlotte and online, WCNC.com, the Weathercaster app, Facebook, Twitter, Google+. We got you covered anywhere, all over the place, right here at NBC Charlotte. I'll see you today starting at 4.